Right, yesterday seemed like it should have been Wednesday, today should be Thursday. I'm like, I am ready to be done with the weekend. Alright, number 1 is 90 is greater than or equal to negative 9 times the quantity W plus 3. Draw your line. What property do we do first? Distributive, so we'll just leave our 90 here. So a negative 9 times W is a negative 9W. A negative 9 times a positive 3 would be a negative 27. Then I'm going to box up my negative 9W because I don't want it to move, but I'm going to move my 27 by adding it to both sides. These cancel each other out, and this adds to 117 is greater than or equal to negative 9W. Then I box up my W, and if this is multiplication, we do the opposite, which would be dividing by a negative 9. Dividing by a negative 9. 117 divided by a negative 9 is a negative 13. And then it's W. If you divide or multiply the end by a negative, don't forget to flip the inequality sign. How many of you forgot to flip the inequality sign? Oh, most of you remember? That's great. Number 2. Ashley bought 6 yards of ribbon for $5.28. What ratio is proportional? So it's always cost, and this is cost per yard. So it is $5.28 for 6 yards. I'm finding the unit price of that. So I take $5.28 divided by 6, and I get 88 cents per yard. So then I just have to do the same thing. $1.36 divided by 2. What is that? Is 68 cents. So is that one proportional? No. Then $2.64 divided by 3 is 88 cents. Is that proportional?
Yes.
Yes. So I got lucky by just going to the right instead of going down. What is the slope? So what do I have to write on my paper? What do I have to write? Keep telling me. Slope equals what?
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
The more you say it, the more you'll have it memorized. Now, how do I know which is my first, which one is 0.1 and which one's 0.2?
The one on the left is 0.1 and the one on the right is 0.2.
Because it's always left to right. So even though this one's higher, this would be my 0.1. So I have to find the coordinates of 0.1. So it goes over 1, so it's a negative 1, and then it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a negative 1, positive 4. 0.2 is over 1, 2, 3. And I know some of those lines are kind of hard to see, but it's a positive 3. Then it goes down 1, 2. So it's a negative 2. So then I'll rewrite my points on my paper. 0.1 is a negative 1, positive 4, and 3, negative 2. Then I go into my slope formula. y2 is a negative 2 minus y1 is 4 over x2 is 3 minus x1 is a negative 1. Rule of integers: keep, change, change, keep, change, change. So it is a negative 2 plus a negative 4, which is a negative 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. Reduce it by 2, which would become a negative 3 over 2. And rewrite it over here. What does the negative 3 mean? What? It means down 3. 3, and then right 2. So if I look at my line here, down 3, so I go 1, 2, 3, and then right 2. 1, 2. Doesn't that give me another point on the line? Down 3. 1, 2, 3, right 2. 1, 2. Do you see how you need to know the direction that what slope means? Okay. And knowing that my line is going down, we should know that it is a negative slope. A circle has a radius of 3 feet. What is the circumference of a bigger circle if the scale factor of the small to big is 4 to 7? So I'm going to start by writing small to big is 4 to 7. But I know that the radius equals 3, but I need to find the circumference. What is the formula for circumference? Yes?
It's 2 times pi times the radius.
Times r, which is the radius. Yep. So we do 2 times 3.14 times 3. Put that in my calculator, and my answer is 18.84. So that is my circumference of the smaller circle. I'm going to come back to the ratio, and if this is the small to big, my small circle circumference is 18.84, so I don't know my x. How do we solve for x?
Cross multiplication.
Only one person knows how do I solve for it? Cross multiplication or cross product. So I have 4x, and you have to show all of this work equals 7 times 18.84. So then 4x equals 131.88. Divide by 4, divide by 4, and x equals 32.97. Can somebody pull up their calculator really quick for me, please? I'm going to put it underneath. Thanks, dear. One thing I want to show you on your calculator is the pi button, okay? So when we had to put in 2 times pi times r, you would just do 2 times pi, and that was your pi button, times 3. And that was my answer. Does that make sense? Or you could have just done 2 times 3.14 times 3. Oops, I didn't clear it. 2 times 3.14 times 3. And then I got the 18.84. Either way is fine. Okay? But know that pi, oops, sorry, why didn't you guys tell me that you guys can see it? That the pi button is right here, and you will want to be using it. Especially on the iLearn. Thank you, dear. My next problem is number 5. You are solving the proportional equation. How do we solve it? What do we do? Cross multiplication or cross product. You have to show your work. 8 times b minus 8 equals 10 times b. You always put the number before the letter. Don't put b times 10. Then I do the what property here? Distributive. 8 times b is 8b. 8 times a negative 8 is a negative 64 equals 10b. Draw my line. I'm going to leave the negative 64 here by itself, and I'm going to take over the negative 8, or the 8b by taking in the negative, because it's positive. So they cancel each out, so I'm left with negative 64 equals 2b. Then I'm going to leave B alone, this is multiplication, so I divide by 2, and I get a negative, or, I don't know why I put a negative there. My answer is a negative 32 equals B. And then rewrite it so you put the letter first. And box your answer. Oh, thank you. 6, draw an obtuse triangle that is also isosceles. Obtuse means what?
Past 90 degrees.
Greater than 90 degrees. So I'm just gonna do, and then isosceles means what? Two sides the same. I want you to write those notes. And I did it shorthand. So then I'm going to draw a obtuse triangle. Okay, but it doesn't really look isosceles yet. There. And then I'm going to show that this side and this side are equivalent by drawing the one line. Because if the lines are the same, that means they are the same length. And number 7, the pyramid below was dissected by a horizontal plane, so that would have been right through there. Which shape describes the pyramid's horizontal cross section? That is this right here. That would be the horizontal cross section. What is that shape?
Pentagon.
What is it?
Pentagon.
Pentagon. Their answer for number 7 is